friend, and we are so excited to have you all with us tonight. We are going to be diving into such an what probably will end up being a very hot topic, a very emotional topic, where we as Black women will be talking about our hair. And we have a group with us of wonderful women with us who have agreed to come on and do a deep dive into this with us. And so we'll introduce our group, our panel in just a few minutes. We just want to say hello to you. Say hello to us as you come on. Hey, Makesha.
Hey, Makesha. Hi, Miss
Hey,
Diane.
Miss Diane. We still enjoyed you so much was that just last Sunday?
Last Sunday.
God.
Hi, Miss Willa.
Hey, Miss Willa. Hey, Ronell. How are you doing?
Hey, everybody that we can't see. Hi.
Is that freaking you out, Elvin? We can't see them.
We can't see them or see their comments.
Yes. You can't see their comments?
No.
You don't see it on the right side where it has private chat and
Let me
comments.
just saying.
No.
Okay.
Really?
Well, we'll
Maybe
have that's good to know.
Did I put comment?
Click on
Okay.
the comment one, and then you'll see
Okay.
it.
Got it.
Okay. All
You
right.
see everybody.
Yep. I was
Hello,
under
Chris
private.
Riley. How are you? It's good to see all of you all with us. So we're
Good to see you.
going to hello, Francis. How are you? Hey, Miss Kelly.
Hi, Miss Kelly.
Hey,
Hey,
Kelly.
Francis.
Good to see all of you. So we're going to get started because we don't want to keep you all too long, and hopefully we'll get more people that will join us in a little bit. Do I dare, Miyohnna, ask you to?
That's fine. That is fine.
You do it so well.
All right. All my beautiful ladies
Hey,
and
Miss
men who
Carol.
have decided
Hey,
to
Brittany
join in.
Mention.
What's up, baby? Hi, Miss Kim.
Hey,
Hi,
Kim.
Carol.
Yeah.
Carol and all the
Yes.
ladies.
And Miss Willa. All right, let us go before God. Father God, we thank you just for allowing us to be here in this moment at this appointed time. God, we thank you for how you've brought us throughout the day. You have protected us, you have kept us, you have shielded us from all danger seen and unseen. And for that, we say thank you, God. I pray that as we come together tonight, that you will be glorified, that this will be a time of enlightenment, understanding, a time where we can just commune with each other and just understand and accept the beautifulness that you have created in us and on the outside of us, God. I thank you and I honor you for this time, this moment, this presence. Father God, I pray that you continue to dwell with us, dwell within us, Father God, and in everything that we say, everything that we do, and all that we think, oh God, may you be glorified. So we give you the honor, we give you the praise, Most High King, be glorified. We love you, we thank you for all that you have done. In your son's blessed name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Hey, Miss Kim. Hey, Miss Doris. Vanessa McQueen. That's my buddy right there. How are you? Okay, so today we're going to be discussing, as I mentioned, we're going to be discussing the history and the psychology of Black women and hair and how it affects us today. It's kind of a deep title, but one of the things that we have been discussing privately is it is a humongous, do we call it an issue, ladies, or topic?
Journey. We'll call it a journey.
Yeah.
Journey. It's definitely a journey that we have all been through in various ways, no matter what hairstyle, hair texture, whatever it is. There's been a journey with that. So with that, I want to introduce our panel. Of course, as the my sisters and my friends, I'm Ryan DuPree, and we have my esteemed
I'm Miyohnna Terry.
Miyohnna Terry. And then we have with us on our panel, we have Anita Turner with us. And then we have Elvin Minchin and we have Akia McNeary. And we asked them specifically to be with us tonight. And we are so glad that you all
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you for asking.
No problem. So, we were able to watch. I'm going to open this up by talking about how we were able to watch a YouTube video called "The Hidden Costs of Black Hair," and we also spoke. Oh, we also looked at "Good Hair" by Chris Rock, and both of those videos were very interesting, very informative. And so, Miyohnna, why don't you start us off by talking about Good Hair and what?
Absolutely. So, Good Hair was created by Chris Rock, the comedian Chris Rock, in I want to say October, I believe, but it was in 2009. And what motivated him to create this movie was that his, at the time, 3-year-old daughter came to him and asked why she did not have good hair. And so the way he described her hair was this kind of wiry, dry looking hair. And so he went on this expedition, I'll call it, to understand a lot of different things. You know, as Black women, there are some concepts, there are some perceptions of how our hair defines who we are. Does it define who we are? And if it does, to what extent do we allow hair to motivate us? Right. And so he talked about, so as I looked through this movie, there were some key points about it. And so there was a particular scene where he was literally standing outside and he had a bag of black hair. And he stood outside and said, "Black hair for sale, black hair for sale." No, of course, nobody stopped. He went into a couple of Asian hair stores and kind of asked them, like, "Okay, I have black hair to sell. You know, do you want this?" And so one Asian store in particular had an African American woman behind the register. And so he asked, you know, just kind of questioned him, like, "I have this black hair. There's nothing wrong with it. Why do people not want this black hair?" And so the Asian man went on to say, you know, and I don't want to sound he went on to say that Black women do not want to look African. And he went like this: "They do not want to look African." And then he went on, and so the lady beside him said, "You know, they don't want nappy hair anymore." And so they both agreed and said that, you know, if you look at the magazine, they want to look beautiful. And this hair is not considered beautiful. And so that was very interesting to me because I felt like this movie began to define who we were. Am I defined by my hair? If my hair does not reach a certain standard, does that take away from my beauty? Right. And so just a deep look into even the amount of money that some women would pay to get a weave. This particular salon, she had a weave that started off at $1,000, went up to $3,500, and even said, "I allowed them to put it on layaway. If they can't afford that $1,000 or that $3,500, I will let them pay in installments, and then once they paid it off, I'll begin to apply, or I'll then begin to put this sew in or this weave in their hair." And so just to look at that and just say, you know, wow. And this was in 2009. And so now we're in 2022. So has that changed any? Do we still see ourselves as beautiful depending on what our hair looks like? So yeah. So that was it was kind of a long movie, but they also talked about relaxers, you know, and what relaxers does to the skin and the potential that it could have on long term, what it can have on your scalp, your hair, and all of that. And so it was a very good movie to watch and get some understanding on, you know, where we've come from and where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
With those perceptions of our beauty.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some of the points that stood out to me with Good Hair. Have any of you all seen Good Hair before? You have, Benita. What did you think of it?
So it's so funny because this whole thing is just funny to me because I was that person that thought, oh, I have to get a relaxer because my hair is so nappy,
Mm.
but I was conditioned and raised that way, like
Mhm.
your edges. And long story short, I ended up with locks because I was on a medication that made my hair. And I've always said, my hair is so nappy, I have to have a perm. It's not an option for me. But
Mm.
once I let it go, I cut it all off and grew it back. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So when you talk about movies like Good Hair, and they have documentaries on nappy hair, and you look at the words to the song by India Irie,
Mhm.
and it's all stuff that we've been told in our culture, just
Mhm.
stuff that we've heard. People make jokes about you sitting between your mother's knees on Saturday mornings, getting your hair dyed,
Mhm.
Friday late to the side
Mhm.
for church on
Mhm.
Sunday. So these are
Mhm.
just things that we've been taught and raised up. But it's a mindset change that you have to be like, I'm okay. I'm still cute,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
I don't have to have a weave. And I know there are extenuating circumstances where people may have alopecia or,
Right.
things like that. But I would have never, you couldn't have told me 10 years ago that I would have had locks in my head. I would have
Mhm.
been like, no
Mhm.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think part of, what was so interesting about the other video, the hidden cost of black hair, was it
Mhm.
talked about a lot of the stuff that Miyohnna mentioned and you mentioned, Vanita, good hair, but it went more historical about where a lot of this stuff
Came
started
from.
and where it came from. And so what stood out to me was one of the reasons why black women started straightening their hair as far back as slavery was because the mother and the child whose hair was straighter, they were able to stay together more. And
Mhm.
so when they got to the auction block, they were not put on, put or
Yeah.
separated because
Uh-huh.
they were looked at, get this, as
Mhm.
more human and less animalistic
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
their hair was
Mhm.
straighter. I guess
Mhm.
because it was more conducive to the Caucasian um, way of looking at what was
Mhm.
normal or what
Yeah.
should be. And so that's how a lot of it got started, where straight hair was better,
Right.
and
Mhm.
instead of the way that your hair, as people said in both of these videos, the way that your hair naturally grows out of your head,
Mhm.
that it wasn't good enough. So that stood out to me. The other thing that stood out to me, and we'll get into this a little bit, is the fact that, as Good Hair talked about, and then in this particular YouTube video talked about, the amount of money that is in this hair industry is
Mhm.
amazing. It's
Yep.
staggering. It's in
Yep.
the billions of
Yep.
dollars for Black women and hair.
Mhm.
What the key thing was is that hardly any of that money is going
Came back.
in the pocket
Mhm.
or into the Black community.
That's right.
Mhm.
That most of the money that is being made by Black hair products or weaves or wigs or anything like that is going into the white community and the Asian community.
Mhm.
And they are
Mhm.
capitalizing on our need to look a certain way, a need
Mhm.
that they put into us based on the historical fact that I just said. Um, and now they're capitalizing on it. And in many ways, we've embraced that.
Yeah. And there was a comment that I had to write down from Good Hair, and I can't think of who this guy is.
Mm.
But he's famous, but I can't think of what his name is. But the comment that he said was, "If our hair is relaxed, white people are relaxed. If our hair is nappy, they are not happy." And I literally had to write that down. I was like, "Oh, wow." And so now we look into the laws that are being created so that we are protected if we
Yes,
want to wear our
yes,
natural hair.
a
Whoever
crown
thought that we would need laws to protect us to be who we were created to be?
exactly. The Crown Act, which
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would like to jump in. Going back to what Vanita was saying, as a child, being between your mom or grandmother's legs, getting that hair straightened out as a kid, my mom put a perm in our hair. We got a perm at 10. I remember at 10 years old is when I first got my first relaxer. And I asked my mother, I said, why did we get perms so early, early on in our childhood? And she said, because your hair was so unmanageable. And it did. I remember just being in such pain with trying to get my hair combed out as a child. I would run. But after a few times of doing that, I guess she was like, I can't deal being a single parent, can't deal with these kids with this nappy hair. So we're going to get a perm and make it straight. So I can manage it better. And that started my journey at 10 years old with relaxer. And I think for me, it's just my preference in the way I want my hair to look and the way I want my hair to feel. I don't look down on people that have a different grade of hair, but I just feel like this is the way I was raised, and I've always had a preference to have straighter hair and not the natural hair. And I feel like natural hair, from what I've heard from people that's had natural hair, it's harder to keep. I don't know if you guys want to weigh in.
And I love that point, Elvin, that you make, because Miyohnna and I, when we talked about tonight, we wanted to make sure that everyone understood, however you wear your hair, whether it's relaxed, natural, locks, whatever you want to do, it's your decision. No one's here to judge that. It's how you want to wear your hair. That's not what. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. So Akia, can you and so when I thought about this, and Ryan and I thought about this, when it came to natural, like I love, and I tell her on Sundays, I love her curls. This sister girl had them curls popping. And so can you talk a little bit about your journey? I think for me, when I'm now relaxed, whole hair relaxed, used to be natural, but so much money went into products to find the right products to get your curl. Talk a little bit about your journey.
So my journey started, I had my daughter, and I was like, and I live in Kentucky, and I was like, and I had straight hair. I had a relaxer, I had an angle bob, it was cute, everything. And I remember, like, I was putting beads in her hair, and she was 18 months on, and she's like, "Mommy, hair?" And I'm like, is she realizing something here? You know what I'm saying? That we don't look the same. And I was like, well, I think I'm gonna cut it off. And I'm like, my kids are like, "Mom, you're gonna cut your hair off?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna cut it off." And so Monet won't have a complex. That was my big thing. I didn't want her to have a complex. I didn't want her to feel like she was left out, because we are surrounded around Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? So when I did it, I was like, what am I gonna do with this? You know what I mean? So I did the porosity test. Okay. So it's a whole situation. I do the porosity test. You got to see it.
Explain that a little bit more.
So if your hair floats to the top, that means you have high porosity. If it stays in the middle, you have medium porosity, and then you have low porosity. And then it all depends on, for your porosity test, tells you how to add your oils, your cream, and your gel to your hair. But that didn't work for me. And so I had high porosity hair, and it was supposed to be oil, leave-in, conditioner, then gel. My hair don't do that. I have to do gel, leave-in, then oil. You know what I'm saying? I said, so what was the whole purpose of going through this whole thing, putting my hair in the water, letting it float and everything else, to find out that what they're saying on YouTube just don't work for me. And then I also found out that it was like, thank God I got boys that don't care about what they use their hair to wash and conditioning. But I would say I was spending at least $200 a month just on product. The gel, the oils, the this, the that, the edge control for this, and then I was trying to do protective style. So then that was the weave. And then I was like, weave it makes my hair itch. So I do a little bit of weave to no weave. I was like, that ain't working out for me. And then I found, after 4 years, I have a regimen. I know my spring now. I know my summer. I know my winter. And I know my fall.
And all these products are different.
All these products are different.
Okay.
And so out of that $200 worth of products, how many of them did you realize, okay, this doesn't work for me?
I would say about 70%. The good part is, what doesn't work for my hair works for my daughter's hair. So that's the lesson. You know what I mean? Because we got two totally different types of hair. But that's the good thing. It's like it's not going to waste or to work for one of my boys. You know what I mean? So it's not going to waste, but then it's like very wasteful because here I am. I'm like, I got the directions, I got my cap, I got my this. I'm gonna sit under here for 15 minutes. I'm gonna do this, and this is how we supposed to get wash and go. Like I love a wash and go because I don't have to worry about nothing. I'll do it on. I usually wash my hair on Sundays. If I need a decondition, I start on Saturday. But then it's just doing these numbers, and I put my bonnet on at night, and it's the whole week. So now I'm debating right now if I want to get it cut again, or am I willing to let it grow out again? So this is what.
But you said $200 a month, and I was thinking back to when I first started, and I remember, people said, "Oh, your hair is just like mine. You can use Miss Jessie's." So I ran to Target and bought Miss Jessie's products. And that was about $80.
Yes.
So after about a week, that didn't work.
Yes.
So I ran to Whole Foods because, you probably should try the natural. So I tried all these products. Later, I found out if you go to Whole Foods, I don't care how much of the product you use, they will take it back. Yeah. You can return it, even if it's used.
Yeah. Okay.
Only to find out that Pure D coconut oil worked in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just some oil. Yes. I even used like Black and Bossy stuff in my hair, and it worked. Like hair that's for us, by us. And I was trying out buying, like I said, Miss Jessie's. They got the black name on it, but it's not made with things for black hair, really. Yeah. So you try all these things, and I found out one trip to the hair store was $80. Yes, so I'm like $200 a month. You made it out kind of cheap.
I did. It was short.
Right. I think too is like, what Akia is saying, we go to YouTube, we go to these influencers, and we think, okay, this is what is going to work for everybody. And like what Tanya said in the comments, every product or one way is not for everybody. And so that's how you end up spending so much on products, because you have to figure out what's going to work with your hair type. And that could cost a lot of money to try and figure that out, especially if you're natural. So,
but even, can I just jump in? Even with not being natural during the pandemic, when the pandemic started and we could not get to the salon, I was trying all kind of products on my hair, and I was like, well, what? It seemed like even the products I asked my beautician what she was using, it just wasn't working like she did it. It was just something about it's something about, I get what the professionals do, but I couldn't do it. But I spent tons of money trying to find these before I contacted her, after I spent tons of money trying to find that right product of what would work for even considered straight hair. So it's a universal thing that's, that's spending money on products, trying to figure out the right product for your hair. Because everything don't work for everybody.
I think the pandemic did that for a lot of people. I mean, I know to try and I was going to get my hair done really often, and my curls weren't there anymore. And so I took the pandemic as an opportunity to get my hair healthy again. Yeah. Now, there's two ways that people have done that. Again, you look at YouTube, they tell you shave your head basically in order to get your hair healthy again. That was not going to be my story. That was not going to be
That's what I did. That's what I did.
That was but kudos to anybody.
Exactly. They can just cut off.
Y'all would have to give me oxygen and a defibrillator if I were to do something like that.
I was on my way.
I was like, when I did it, I was like, now what am I? I think I'll cut it so I had a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I told my friend, I said, girl, make sure I have like a little bang right here, something, you know what I'm saying? So I can hold on to.
It was so disturbing to me. I can remember, and I always thought Elvin was like one of my close friends. But now that I think about it, I recently found a picture, and I found out she really doesn't like me because I found a picture where we had gone to Gatlinburg, and I had on this hateful wig. It was hateful. I was just like, really, y'all got me standing in the group taking pictures like I'm looking cute. It was, I wish I could find it like quickly. It was just a hateful wig, and I thought it was cute. It was a bob. I was like, really, y'all let me walk around looking like this?
Who let you walk around looking like that?
You went to Gatlinburg and you didn't say a thing. You and Alicia. Shut up, Brittany.
Okay, we'll get to that off camera. The point is that I was able to take the pandemic to get my hair healthy. And what I did was, Miyohnna laughs at me, but I listened to my hair. If my hair, your hair will talk to
tell
you.
you. Yeah.
It'll let you know what it likes and what it doesn't like, what products are good, what it does, what but you have to listen. And you have to be like, no, I want my hair to look like this. No, your hair will tell you what it wants and what it needs, and you just have to listen to it and provide it with what it needs. And what I discovered, like y'all, after going through a zillion and one different products, that it took minimal products, actually, just a good product, and I was able to bring my hair myself back to a healthy state, and was really happy about that. And in fact, so much so that I don't go to the hair salon much anymore, because I learned how to embrace doing it myself and have enjoyed that journey of getting it healthy myself without shaving my head. Because that just, like I said, that just wasn't gonna happen. So that
you look in the comments, Kelly Parker said pretty much the same thing. She used to use a lot of pricey products in the beginning, but then the lower end ones worked out better for her in the end. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so and also what, Miyohnna and I being as close as we are, the products that I was using, she was using, and
y'all, let me tell you, just hold on one second. When you realize, you have to come to the realization at some point to say, you know what, I don't have hair like you, so I can't go and purchase what you purchased for mine and expect to get the same result.
Mm-hmm.
So one being a product or a line called Olaplex. Went out, and I'm gonna be transparent here, went out and brought the line. I think it goes from like 0 to 8 steps or something like that. So I did 3, 4, 5, and 7, over $120 for this. I used it twice. My hair was so crunchy, and I was natural at the time. It was so crunchy. And I tried, flat iron it, and I'm like, I'm putting so much more heat than I would want to. So Lisa say, if anybody on here wants some Olaplex, I have plenty of it under my cabinet.
Take it.
Miss Kim, if I see you Sunday, I will bring this Olaplex.
Okay, but here's the thing. Miss Kim and I have similar.
Y'all have similar hair.
There you go.
Miss Diane laughing at me. Yes, Miss Diane, it was crunchy.
But you all have similar hair textures too.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. But I say that to say how we can either go off of YouTube and we see their end result. We don't know what it took for them to finally say this product works, this product doesn't work. We see the end result and assume that if I go out and get this is what my hair is gonna look like, and it turns out crunchy.
And
I'm still feeling that because I spent $120 on it, but okay. And I still have a cabinet in my bathroom full of products. Like my doors are starting to bulge because I can't shut them.
All right. So that's Miyohnna's hair story. So where are you now?
Okay, so let me say, and sort of like Vanita, I started natural in 2012 because I was on blood pressure medicine. And I noticed that my scalp stayed dry. My hair was very brittle. And I was getting relaxers at the time. And so my OBGYN told me, like, it's the medication. That's all it is. It's your medication. And so because we're not at the point to take you off, we may need to look at something different. So I said, you know what? Let's try natural. And so because I wasn't confident within myself to do the big chop, I just went every 2 weeks or every week and just got it straightened. That's all I did. Just got it straightened for a little bit over a year. And so finally I said, okay, well, maybe I'm at the point where I can wear it out, see where it goes. And so many people who know when I tried to do the twist set and all of that, it again was crunchy, and it just did so many things that it was hard. So then I decided to do protective styles. And so I looked at, the fact of, do I want to purchase all these products to try to find what my routine is, or do I just want to find a protective style? So I did protective styles for about 5 to 6 years, whether it's braids, a sew-in, all of that. And so finally in December of last year, we started the workout challenge. And so we worked out every day. So I noticed that something was taking my hair out. I had protection, but my hair was just thinning, and it was thinning. And so I said, you know what? Maybe at this age, I need to just cut it and just try something different. So I cut it. And so my hairdresser, I told him, like, I work out every morning. I don't know why Benita laughed, but I work out every morning.
Brandon Craig.
Because Brandon said the crunching is really taking them back.
So I said, I just want a new look. I want to look different. I want something different. And so I said, I work out every morning. What can I do? So what he decided to do was relax the edges and put a texturizer, which means that you use a relaxer, but you don't keep it in there as long. It just kind of makes your curls relax. Yeah. And so did that. That was not good. The top of it, after I worked, so I did 1 week. And so I went back and I said, no, this is what's happening. I have to, because I'm drenched by this time from working out. I have to blow dry it every morning. Mm-hmm. And so when I blow dry it, it's still big and slightly crunchy. Not as crunchy, but slightly crunchy. And so now I got to flat iron it. I said, but I'm doing that almost every day. Mm-hmm. And so I said, what should I do? So he gave me some more tips. And so finally, one Friday, I worked out and I went to his salon looking like how I typically would look when I get through working out. And I said, this is what I'm talking about. And by this time, it was big, puffy, and dry. I said, this is what I'm talking about. And the face he gave, he said, oh. I said, so relax my whole head. Relax it all. And so I've been relaxed.
Here we are today.
For about 2 weeks.
Here we are.
And here we are today. And so I had to kind of applaud myself. Like you went for a while, you tried it. Mm-hmm. 10 years, and I had to.
And no crunch anymore, Miyohnna.
It don't crunch. It is flat and laid to the side, and I like it.
And she likes it.
And I love it. I do. I really do.
That's what's important. And I think, when we look at each of us, we all have, our hair is healthy, but it took us we had to go on a journey in order to get to that point, products, journeys, everything else. Okay. So thank you for sharing your hair journeys with us. And so I just want to start asking some questions. You all were sent these questions, so hopefully you have answers for us today. All right. How old were you when you first got a relaxer?
I was 10, as I said earlier.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
I was 14. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was so happy. I was going to high school. I begged and pleaded like, Ma, you cannot send me to Withrow like this. You cannot send me to high school like I just got off the boat. But no. And I was so excited when I got my perm. It was a band 2. I'll never forget it.
I remember band 2. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Miyohnna?
I actually do not remember. I don't remember. It had to be when I was a teen, maybe. Because I don't remember mom putting relaxers in my hair.
Mama Terry, if you're on, can you let us know when Miyohnna got her first?
She's going to be like, yes, you don't remember when I...
I think I got a relaxer when I was probably, and I know Pastor Carol is watching, she's going to say something if I'm wrong. Probably about 10, maybe something like that. And my issue was my hair was really big and down to my waist. And so I remember me and my mom fighting about my hair because it was just big and tangled and unmanageable. And so she did had the kitty perm in it. And I remember loving it. And we were friends again after she did.
That's what I tell people all the time, just for me saving my daughter's relationship. We were talking, I was telling her about this platform we were doing tonight, and she was like, how old was I when you gave me a relaxer? I said 4. Because I
was in good hair. I don't know if you remember that, but it was in good hair that we were talking about like 3 and 4 having.
It was a just for me because it wasn't like what we call nappy or super coily. It was just really thick. And I mean, every 3 days was a fight because her hair was so thick. I could do ponytails or braids and it would last 3 or 4 days. But yeah, she was like 4 years old. That's torture. I'm like,
I've contemplated because me and Monet, we are not best friends. When it's time to get, she starts crying literally when I turn the water on to wash her hair. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. You need to calm down. You need. She's like, but I'm like, I haven't put shampoo. I haven't put water. I haven't done anything. I just need you to calm all the way down.
Ivana said she was 10 when she got her first relaxer.
Carol, Camp Jackson.
She was 18.
So you were like a Kia, did it later. And Benita. So you did it later. Okay. All right. Next question. This is a little deeper. Why do you think it's still not acceptable, not only to society, but us as Black women to wear our hair as it naturally grows out of our heads?
So when I read that question, I went straight to the workplace, and I think that our European coworkers get a little intimidated by us when we are natural because it just is a sign that you are more in tune with your Blackness to them. And I actually have had a couple conversations, because they always want to know, is that your hair? How's it so long? That. So I give them a little hair tutorial, and they end up, especially if you are a Black woman with a journey of why you did it. Mine was a health issue is why I did it. It wasn't really a Black journey I was on, but a lot of people that have locks, it's a Black journey that they've gone on, and they are really in tune, and it's frightening to our white coworkers. And it's amazing to me that still to this day. So that's one thing that they will want to, it's still not really accepted in the workplace. Most places they tolerate it. It's not really accepted. It's tolerated.
That they tolerate.
Yeah.
And then I even found myself in the beginning, like still in my professional setting, I would still wear more updos, more conservative dos, but I would never go to work I will now, but like this, wear it down, they would be like, ooh, she real Black today.
Benita, that's real though, because like Dad announced to everybody I started a new job a couple weeks ago, and I had braids my first day at work, and I had to think about that for a second. I really had to process that for a minute. Is that going to be acceptable? Is that going to be intimidating? Is that going to be too Black for you to make you feel uncomfortable that I'm celebrating my own Blackness through my hair? Is that not going to work for you? And then I just decided I didn't care. So I went on and, went to work. But you have to, I think, your professional career is a real part of the issue. What else?
Yeah, so I am the only African American at my job. And they're always like, because it's like, 1 week I throw a little twist or I throw a little, sometimes I'll twist it, sometimes I'll, where my wash and go. But the wash and go is what they're used to. So now that I'm in the process of growing it out, I don't know yet. As I'm going through what I'm going to do. Oh, it's like, oh, and in the morning, it's like, hi, it's like I get that, oh, that's different. You know what I mean? And so when I did this hairstyle, one of them was like, how did she say that? You look like Queen Latifah and set it off. And I was like, oh, my hair's to the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's me? Look, is this intimidating you? You feeling some type of way today?
Right.
It's cute because I got a little thing going on right here. I woke up feeling cute and you didn't tell me I look like set it off. You know what I mean? Like, no, we're not going to do that. So I am and I do question like how I'm going to wear my hair that week. You know what I mean? I work in a childcare. You know what I mean? I'm preschool, so I'm representing the kids, and I am a teacher and the parents. And then it's like all my white coworkers, and I'm like, do I because sometimes I want to put my baby hair is like down here and do like swoop thing, but I have never wanted to work that way because I'm like that's gonna be too Black for them. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna understand that, so I just do boom. Boom. But sometimes I want to do like the little, little 3 of them right there, and I just end up leaving it alone. Like I'll do it, but then I just put it right back to.
So even with that, we still are like trying to accommodate them.
Adjust,
And I laugh because okay, so y'all see this girl's hair on this picture. She got kinky, like so. Whoever doesn't know me, I work 100 jobs, and one of my jobs I work with all white people, pretty much, and they are the people that just like, oh my God, we're doing all this race equity stuff, and so they're trying to learn about black hair. They're trying to learn about everything black. But then if I go to the funeral home where I work with all black people, they're like loving the locks, but it's like a strain, like, like you said, Akia, like, I can't put these 3 little swoops on here today because I'm going with the white people. Now I'll rock it at the funeral home because I'm going around all my people, but I'm going over here to Great Cincinnati Foundation. I'm like, I might want to be a little more conservative with them because I don't want to say something. But why?
I don't know. I think it's I guess it's part of the brainwashing. You know what I mean? Like we have to look a certain way.
That's good.
It's almost like we're programmed that way. Like we need to look this way to be acceptable. We need to look this way
to make them comfortable.
To make them comfortable. Yes. And it's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why do we have to continue to make them comfortable? That's not, not them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just do my 3 swoops. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Janice said.
Do it tomorrow. Absolutely.
Read what Janice. She said, how often do we say to them that their hair is too white for us, or that style is too white for us? We don't.
Right.
We don't because
we live in white America. That's what we live and we work in white America. So,
but you know what too? With white people, they do all these crazy colors now, green and blue.
No, nothing is said.
Yellows and it's like that's acceptable in the workplace. So why isn't the hair that grows out of our head not acceptable? I mean, they're doing all kind of crap. It's like, now that really is not professional.
Now they will look at me and say, now look, we accepted your locks. Now you've gone too far with that green.
Right.
Exactly. Let me walk in there with some purple and red, some purple and green hair. What you think they're going to say to me?
But now, Chris Riley said this a little while ago that the Crown Act needs to be in every state. Chris, it does. And I believe somebody find out for us, isn't it federal law now? Did Biden make that federal law? Can somebody look that up and see? Because either there was some talk about the Crown Act where you can no longer be discriminated for the texture of your hair in the workplace. Discriminated against.
So listen to this. I was looking at helping my daughter get LaJuan ready for pre-K. And Zion Temple Christian Academy will not accept him because he has locks in his hair. The Christian church. They said, nope, got to have a haircut.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yep, no braids, no locks, no nothing.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and we would have to ask them what their reason is for that. But I would love to know what the reason is behind that. But we're not going to get into that. But that is interesting. That's very interesting. And if we were off air, I would really want to dig into that. Okay. Another question. Well, let me see, because we're running out of time. Let's see. Are we still, and we kind of said this, are we still basing the quote unquote goodness of our hair on our own self and our own self-worth based on Caucasian beauty standards of good hair?
For me, I don't think I base that on my hair on Caucasians. I just it's my preference and what I like and how I like my hair to feel and look.
Okay. So then,
so I went for my first school choice event, and we had to go to Lexington, Frankfurt, Louisville, Frankfurt. And I was like, I struggled all that. Like, am I going to wear my hair straight? Am I going to wear my hair natural? Because I was like, I'm going in front of legislators. So if I wear my hair natural, they may be like, you're an angry Black woman because this topic is not something that is very, pleasant here in Kentucky. And so I ended up straightening. I was like, okay, I'm going to get it straight. I'm just going to blow dry it. I'm going to straighten it. Girl, I was so mad by the time I got out of there. I had an afro. I looked like a lion. You know what I'm saying?
Came out anyway.
Yeah, I was like, I did all this for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did not have to go because here I am in the bathroom, like, oh my gosh, because at this point, I'm natural. So with the straight hair, it's like I don't even know what to do. I didn't bring nothing with me. I don't even know if I had a comb, and then I ended up pulling it back, just doing 2 little things and just pulling it back because it was really long. It was down to, when I got it cut, I cut off 11 inches. So
Oh gosh.
yes. And so I was like, what do I do here? And I'd look at my picture and I'm like, if you would have just went, but I didn't want to be like, you know, you're angry, you're just mad because of this and this and that. And so I looked at who I was going to be presenting myself to.
Mhm.
And that is why I went with the straight hair, and I made sure I was business casual, and I made sure
Makes them comfortable.
yeah, I was. I really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Very comfortable. And then looked like Lion King come home. I was mad, y'all. I was mad. I was so mad.
Yeah,
And
no,
I feel like a lot of times, majority of the times, that's our initial thought.
yeah.
Is to
What are they
please-
going to think?
What are
Mhm.
they
What are they
going
gonna
to
think?
think? That's
Mhm.
And
it-
I just made myself mad when you just said that, because we had a board meeting the other day and I knew I was going in front of all the white people, and I had my hair up in the updo because,
Mhm.
and I do sometimes I feel like when I wear my hair down like this, like yesterday, they made me mad at work. So I went in with it down today, only because I was getting it done today. But this was my weapon today, because they know when we need to wear her hair down, it's something. This is my weapon. So they know I'm feeling some kind of way. But you're right, and I just made myself like, why do I do that?
Why do we?
Performing again.
But I feel like we do it as a cult, as an African American culture. We all do it.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
mean, I think we do it in general, not just with our hair, but my dad used to call it being bilingual. You know, he would say, my children are bilingual, or Black folks in general, many of us are bilingual. And he said the reason, and he called it bilingual because we're going to talk a certain type of way, you know, language, or the way that we pronounce our words or whatever.
Use
with Black
proper
folks
English in front of them.
versus with white folks, it's a totally different way of speaking.
Mhm.
And you know, and right, Divina, why do we do that? And then I want to go back up to
Lawanda.
Yeah.
Wanda, where she said that, now this is interesting, that her son could not work for Mike's car wash because they told him that he has to cut his braids because they hired gentlemen.
Wow.
wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
That's a wow.
Mhm.
That's a wow. Exactly.
that's a wow. Okay, and we've really gone into 4 and 5. And okay, one of the last questions. What is your opinion on the fact that most of the money spent on hair care products or weave is going in the pockets of the white or Asian community?
Oh, I was upset about that. I was like, oh my goodness, I was mad. I'm sorry, y'all, but I was kind of peed off about that. I'm like, and so it's not even going into our community. You know what I mean? Like, and so we're African Americans. I mean, I just feel like more of us should be making hair products. So maybe we need to start a Crazy Manual hair product. I'm just playing.
I mean, but I think it's important. Like, I love the fact that when I wear my hair naturally curly, that the product that I use is Pattern Beauty by Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yes.
I like the fact that I'm able to pour, and it's not just because she's Black,
Mhm.
but it works the best for me, for my hair. I'm not sitting on here trying to endorse it or anything, but it works the best for my hair. So, but I found that actually, I mean, deep, you know what I mean? Where, as we've been discussing, because of the culture that we live in, we've been made to feel less than or insecure about our hair.
Mhm.
So we go and we purchase products to make our hair more adaptable to our environment that we are in most of the time. And that money is then going into the pockets of those who have originally oppressed us in
Mhm.
order to make us feel this way. So we're still making people rich off of our own, what they deem to be our own inferiority, or our own issues, or you know, lack thereof, or whatever. And I just find that infuriating. I find it fascinating, and something that I pray, I don't have the gift to do it, but I pray that there are others in the African American community, or women of color, people of color, who will be able to do that for us. So we can support our own community with those types of products.
And I remember that I couldn't even So when I first moved here, it was 2002, 2003. And so there was not in, I couldn't get a hair grease in Kentucky. You hear me? And I got my job at Adidas warehouse, and it was African American lady, and I was like, "Hey, how are you?" I was like so excited to see her. I'm like, "Girl, where we go?" You know what I'm saying? Like, what because I was there here 3 months. No, we're like, my ID looked a mess. I mean, it was bad. And I was like, and she was like, "Oh, you go on Lynn Street." And I'm like, "Lynn Street?" And I'm originally from Chicago, so I'm like, "Lynn Street, why I gotta go on Lynn Street?" So I put this in the GPS, and I'm like, I gotta go to Cincinnati to get hair products. Like, this is not okay. You know what I mean? Like, so I would go, and I got real cool with Chinese lady because I was like, "Look, $100 and it's gonna last me a whole month because this is what I need." And I'll never forget, the lights had went out or something, and I went over there, and she let me in. She's like, "Key, you got cash?" I said, "Yeah, I got cash." She's like, "Let her in, let her in." I was like, "Why you let me in?" She's like, "Because I know how far you travel to come get your products." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Thank you." You know what I mean? Because I'm coming from Kentucky to Cincinnati just to come and get shampoo, conditioner, leave-in, you know what I'm saying? Hair grease for my kids, everything. And it was literally $100 to $150. So I was like, I had to go get my deep freezer filled up just on hair products because I wasn't going to continue to run 20 minutes away. And then another time at the Dollar General by my house, I was like, "Y'all ain't got hair grease or nothing?" And they was like, "No, no, no." I was like, "Well, where I live at," I'm like, "It's a lot of us over here, So I ended up calling the general manager. I was like, "Y'all need to get some can too over here." And some, you know what I mean? Like, and they did. They heard me. They was like, "Okay, not a problem." I was like, "Okay, thank you. We can get little hair grease." I ain't asked y'all to get a big selection. You know what I mean? But we should be able to come to a local store and get some gel and at least a shampoo and conditioner when y'all sell everything else for everybody else in the community.
Yep. Yeah.
Have a whole aisle full of it.
Girl, I got a little section there, girl. I can go in there and like, "Yeah."
You have a whole aisle full. You have your little section.
Yeah, exactly. I think, and when we talked about doing this particular segment, we knew that it was going to be one that would bring about a lot of conversation. And I don't even think we touched at the tip of the iceberg where a lot of this is concerned. Like I really don't. I feel like Black women and hair. We've talked about privately how when we're wearing protective styles, the protective styles, so many of them are still Eurocentric. You cut your hair off, you do the big chop, but then weave in, Eurocentric hair type styles. And why say I'm natural, and then cover
Your natural up with straight hair.
Straight hair. Why do we do that? Why is that an issue? And why is good hair still a concern in our culture? Why do we still have an issue with what is good hair and what isn't good hair? And I said this to Miyohnna. I said, growing up, I would be considered to have good hair. But as I process what that is, number one, I don't like the term because I feel like if you have hair that covers your head,
it's good.
But so I don't like the term. But at the same time, what people seem to forget, and I was just reminded of this, is that the texture of my hair has a story behind it that goes back generations. And what it many times has meant, it's meant one of two things historically. If we go back, especially to slave times where it probably all started, it either meant that an ancestor was raped by a white slave master, or it meant that there was a forbidden interracial relationship that was happening. Either way, it was started through someone's pain. And we're calling that
good hair.
Good hair.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where it started from. You don't know how it got there. And so one of the things that we got to look at that, you know what I mean? Look at what we're envying. Look at what some people are hoping for. and what we've been conditioned to want as black women. And I think this is, so imperative that we look at that and look at the psychology behind what it's done to us as a people. Is incredibly important to do.
But having this conversation, my hope is that once we get the understanding, that we begin to take on change, right? Because it's good and well to have conversations and not be trendsetters, right? Or not make a difference. And so, my hope is that we will take these nuggets and say, what is it that I can do different? Where is it that I can help people change their mentality of the way they think or how they're doing things, and I feel like that's our job. That's what we are created to set an example, and we have the ability and the creativity to do such things, right? So just not take the information and just hoard it and hold it, but then act on it. What can we do different? How can we bring money back into our communities and things like that? And so asking God to provide us with those creative things to make this change, because it can be made. It can definitely be made. Right, Little Jean, break the cycle.
Break the cycle.
Absolutely. And so, that's one of my prayers as we leave here. Give us, Father God, some creative ideas on how to make change.
Amen.
We say it all the time. I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
But do we really believe that? Do we believe that?
Do we believe it? I mean, it's almost like a cliche. I mean, of course, it's words out the Bible. We say it so freely that I don't think we take time to really let it. Do I really believe that I am fearfully and wonderfully made?
Yes, Miss Diane. It's you're right. What is the practical application for that? Where do we really live some of that stuff out that we're professing to believe? Yep. Absolutely.
I definitely, as someone else said, definitely need a part 2 on this, because the conversation it can hit so many different, it's hitting so many different avenues, and we can, take journeys down so many paths with the conversation that we're having. Because as I look at Vanita, we can say she's got beautiful hair. I mean, Vanita, I remember her journey. I remember when she started. And it brings tears to my eyes to see how beautiful and long. So I would consider her hair beautiful. She's got a beautiful head of hair. Just kind of going back to people saying you got good hair, Ryan, because your hair is a different texture. Right. Her hair she's got a beautiful hair.
Absolutely.
I mean, so it's just, I just would love that if we could continue this conversation at another time, because it's so, we've gone down so many avenues, and there's so much more that we can touch on about this Black hair, because I think it's a heart issue as well. I think it touches our heart too. So this has been great though, ladies.
Definitely. Anyone else have last words? Benita?
No, I was just I grew up in an apostolic church, and their thing was always her hair is her glory. And you didn't perm it. You just walked around looking like what we call, we look back at the, pictures now, like, can't believe y'all had us looking like that. But we were taught to learn to love yourself in the state that you're in. So don't touch it, don't cut it, don't curl it, don't perm it. You were meek and mild with what you had, and you went with it, So of course we've lost it along the way, but how do you get it back? It's like,
and that's why I try to, for me, I always like Monet, because everybody wants to touch her hair at school. It's always they want to touch my beads, or they want to ask me, because we got switched up every 2 weeks. And I was like, and I told her, I said, no, she wants to wear it down, because she's only. She has 2 biracial girls in her classroom, and then it's her and everybody else is Caucasian. So she's like, I want to wear my hair down. And I was like, Lord, help me with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is, I ain't blow drying her hair, and I'm not doing all that. So we came up with a 2-strand twist, like down. And I was like, this is how Monet wears her hair down. You don't look like, your friends, but this is your hair down. And she embraced that. She was like, oh, this is my hair down. And I think more so that we, as far as we just need to let our kids be more comfortable, so we can break that cycle and let them know that they are beautiful. They don't have to look like this to be accept it. You can wear your hair down too. It just looks different than everybody else's.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What, Miyohnna, you got any last words, or do you want to close us out?
I don't have any last words.
Okay. So I loved tonight, and we
Yes.
still didn't even get to like everything that we had prepared. So maybe we will do a part two. But I want to thank all of you for coming. I want to thank you all for sharing with us. The comment section was off the chain tonight. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank you.
commenting and making this a really great conversation. Again, I would encourage you all, if you haven't seen Good Hair, to go watch Good Hair by Chris Rock. And Brandon, I think you put it up. If not, we'll put up the YouTube video, The Hidden Cost of Black Hair. It's like a 15-minute YouTube that is the reference point that we use tonight. So, so that you all can see that. But continue to have these conversations with your girlfriends, with your daughters, with your moms, all of that, because there's so much history and so much that we can pass on to the next generation. Like Brittany was saying, you know, what are we passing on to the next generation? Hopefully, as we continue to process, as we continue to move through our own feelings, that will pass on pride in who they are. So that just like Akia's baby, you know, this is how I wear my hair down, and they can be proud of that. So thank you all for joining us tonight. This has been my sister, my friend. We love you all, and we will see you all again soon. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.